What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training. And today we're going to be breaking down the difference between a five-star wide receiver and just an average high school wide receiver. We're going to be talking about some of the key specific things that some of these receivers who end up playing at this highest level of college football, what they have in common, what they do, and what separates them from other kids at their age group who maybe don't have that kind of athleticism, maybe don't have that kind of route running and create that kind of space, okay? So I hope this video helps you guys out. Hope it gives you some value. But also, fellas, we just now started offering a 12-week wide receiver gym workout plan on our website. It's a 3-month step-by-step daily program for wide receivers to improve in the gym. You're going to get access to our wide receiver 28-day gym plan 1.0, 2.0, and then 3.0. They all get more advanced as the months go on. So if you guys want 12 weeks, that's almost an entire off-season's worth of gym workouts specifically for wide receivers to improve their speed, explosiveness, size. Check out that very first link in the description below if you guys want to get access to that. Let's get started with this video. So first things first, we're looking at this route here from Rashod Bateman. First thing I want to point out is that when you guys get to college, the stars don't matter. Nobody cares, right? Nobody cares if you're a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star recruit. So a lot of times, so many guys put so much emphasis on the stars and, hey, am I on this recruiting side? Am I doing this? I'm going to tell you right now, that stuff doesn't matter when you get to college. And you guys have probably heard that before. It doesn't matter. But what you need to be focused on is getting your school paid for. And how can you guys stand out to college coaches who see these recruits on a daily basis? That's the motivation behind this video, because obviously the 5-star guys, everybody loves to throw that term around. They have recruiting attention. They're going to play college ball. They're going to play at the next level. So what separates those guys from the guys who maybe don't get that opportunity to play football at the next level? And that's what we're going to be focusing on. So first route is going to be from Rashod Bateman. So the main thing I want to talk about is that usually those top tier guys, they have like a great sense of football IQ and how to move off the line of scrimmage, right? I went to a high school game. You guys probably heard of the teams like St. John Bosco and then Servite out of Anaheim. And I went to that game last week, and there's a receiver on the Servite side who's going to Oregon, best receiver in, I believe, the state of California. And the guy, just the way he moves around is so technical. The way he moves and what he decides to do off the line of scrimmage, what he decides to do at the top of the route is very technical, and he knows what's going to work against a specific coverage, right? So you see Bateman, this is a great example of this, because you see when he's working, he's running a slant route against a DB who's a little bit inside shade head up. He knows that this DB, if he's inside shade, he's not going to give up the inside shade. He's inside shade for a reason. So where do we have to operate? We have to operate in all this space that he gave me because he's going to be over anxious to jump. So Bateman, it's not about like, oh, this is like a perfect release that he used and this is the only release you have to use. There are plenty of different releases that you can use that'll work this same situation, but operating in this specific range is what will get that DB to jump. And that's that difference, fellas. So many receivers think that, oh, I got a little bit of space. I got about 2 yards. I'm just going to run the slant. I'm just going to try to force the inside. That DB is going to get right into your hip and guard you on this thing. So to be able to play at that next level, you have to have that IQ of, okay, I'm going to work this guy in space. I know why he's lined up a certain way. I have a high football IQ to create some separation. So Bateman does a great example of operating in this range to where this DB has to make a decision. If we get to this spot right here where this DB is kind of in that in-between space where I could either run a fade or I could run a slant, that's going to get me space. Now you look at those D1 guys, and you look at guys in the league, right? The guys in the league is who we're trying to study and who are the best in the world at what they do. Those guys, all their releases look similar. So Bateman, what he's probably got in his back pocket, he's probably got a release where he does the exact same thing, kind of stutters, gets to the outside, and he'll just take off on a fade in case this DB wants to stay disciplined and sit to the inside. So to play at that next level, you have to have that high football IQ. You have to understand what's going to work, why a DB's lined up a certain way, because that's how you could structure your own routes and ultimately play fast. The goal is to play fast, fellas. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Bateman working this guy into space and showcasing how having a high football IQ is what can get you open, okay? So now, the second thing that I want to talk about here is like receivers passing the quote-unquote eye test and what you can do maybe if you don't pass the eye test to stand out to college coaches, okay? So now, the eye test is something that everybody talks about, and I'll play the clip here in a second, full speed, but the eye test is like, okay, that guy looks like a D1 guy. That guy looks like a college receiver. He's however tall, he's built well, he's got good speed, but if you're maybe not that guy who's super tall, super thick, can run a 40, how can you stand out? And you stand out based off of your technique and how explosive you are with your routes, how explosive you are with your ability to create separation, and how smooth you can get in and out of breaks. And that's what we're going to be focusing on now. So we're looking at this route from Calvin Ridley, obviously highly recruited dude if he's going to Alabama, right? So let's watch this full speed. He goes with this double up release and runs this slant route. So one thing that I think so many receivers struggle with is with their movements is being sudden, right? So many receivers they'll reach out for their cuts. They'll drag on their cuts. That's not smooth, fellas. It's not explosive. explosive that's not going to get you any space. You don't want to be that guy that's super overemphasized with his movements, super long. He's always on his heels. Ridley, in this case, is a perfect example of what you should be doing and how you should be moving when it comes to cutting to be able to stand out. Because you see, when he makes this move, it's sudden, right? He's able to throw his hips into it. He's not dragging the back foot. His feet are completely sudden, completely quick. He's selling with his upper half. That's how we have to move if you want to be a receiver at that next level. You got to have that explosion. You got to have that quick twitch. You got to have that stability to where you're able to make these explosive cuts. So when you're in the offseason, when you guys are working out, you guys should be doing those specific movements. You guys should be doing things that are going to build on that, right? We talked about the gym plan that I was talking about at the beginning of this video. That's one of those things. You work on those explosive movements. You work on those one-legged exercises, all this stuff to build on those things that will translate to the field. So the second thing that all those five-star guys, D1 guys, what they all have in common is they're able to move suddenly. They have that quick twitch and they're able to burst. And again, it brings me back to my very first point. They play fast. That's what you got to be able to do to play at that next level. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. Great job by Ridley hitting him with this crossover and then being able to accelerate out of that break. So the last thing I want to talk about here is this is a route from Tyler Lockett back when he played in college. And one thing I want to make just a huge point of is that you see here Nick Saban talk about this a lot, Dabo Sweeney, two of the best wide receiver schools I feel right now. And they talk about all the time, like, what do you look for in a receiver? They talk about seeing guys be smooth into the break and smooth out of the break. So what does that exactly mean? Everybody could be like, oh, he's a smooth route runner. What does that exactly mean? So let's watch the clip from Tyler Lockett and we'll talk about it. So he's running a dig route here and you see how it's just a sudden drop, sudden change of direction, and he's able to get out of this route. So that's one of the main things that I want to focus on here is that when you're going up into a route, there's two things that a coach is going to look for on film. Can you sell vertical? Can you make a tight cut? Can you make a tight change of direction and not lose speed on it, right? So what a lot of receivers will do that are kind of novice is right before they get up into this break point, they'll have an indicator with their pad level. We can't have that if you're going to be playing at the next level. Because let me tell you this, at the next level, every single dude, like every single guy, especially if you're playing at the D1 level, was the best player on their high school team. They were the fastest guy. They were the strongest guy. They were that next level athlete. So when you get to this next level, the little things that you may have gotten away with in high school are not going to fly. So if you're that guy who maybe doesn't pass the eye test like we were talking about, you have to focus on these details if you're going to try to stand out on your film, because your film is what's going to get you recruited and the film doesn't lie, right? So when Lockett's getting up into this route, there's no indicator. He doesn't start chopping his feet. He doesn't raise his pad level up. He keeps the exact same body language because he knows that that's how we're smooth into the break, right? Now, how do you get smooth out of the break? So you see what slows him down right here? You see how he's got that drop of his hips. He drops that pad level and he's able to make that tight change of direction. He's breaking this route off like right on the 30. He stays like right in between that, right? Like maybe he breaks this thing off on like the 32-yard line and he stays right about on that yard line. That hip drop right there is how you make that tight change of direction. That's what coaches are looking for at the next level. Can you make that quick change of direction? Can you stay? If I'm asking you to run a 90 cut dig and stay right down that 90-degree angle and not drift upfield, can you drop your hips into the break and stay in that like energy lane, if you will? That's what they're looking for. So how you guys can improve on that is make sure that you're doing the right things in the offseason to build on this. Like we were talking about with the releases, you should be working situations where you're dropping your hips into routes, where you're trying to stay on a straight platform, going straight over the middle. That's what you have to do to be able to stand out on tape. Is you got to showcase the smoothness in, selling vertical, aka, and the smoothness out, being able to drop your hips, get to that low explosive position, and drive out of the break on a tight cut. Let's watch the thing again, full speed. Then we're going to talk one more thing about how you guys can get in love with the lonely work to be able to play at the next level. That's a great job there by Tyler Lockett. So this next clip right here is a practice clip. This was film that was sent in to me, and it's going to be working just a simple hitch route, right? Just simple hitch route, running routes, breaking this thing off. But the one thing the reason why I show this clip is because one of the main things about this that I really want to highlight and that I really like about this clip is that there's no quarterback out there. There's no million different ladder drills. There's no million different cone drills. He's just going through simple routes versus air, right? And the main thing I want to express to you guys on this is that you have to fall in love with the lonely stuff. I can't tell you how many questions I get asked on a daily basis that people will be like, hey, I don't have a quarterback, throw to me. What do I do? It's like, dude, still go run routes, still go work on drills, still go work on your technique, because the lonely stuff is how you guys get better. You have to put in the time by yourself. You can't be that guy who only works out when your friends go work out, where your friends are like, oh, let's go to the field and you work out for 30 minutes. You just bring the phones out and then that's it. And you do one-on-ones. Nobody gets any better from that. You have to do the things that are going to translate. So working actual releases, building off of actual releases into actual routes, right? That's what we have to do to be able to play at that next level. You have to work the different situations that you're going to apply. Never work on drills. Never work on things that you're not going to use in an actual game. That's the last thing. That's the difference between those guys that are playing at that next level and not, is the guys who are not, they go out to the field, they just want to be a high school guy. They just want to be the guy who goes out to football, has fun. If that's your goal, then that's fine. If you want to enjoy 4 years, fine. Be my guest. But if you want to play at the next level, you have to love the boring stuff. You have to love the stuff Football is very repetitive. You have to love the stuff that's going to actually translate for you in an actual game. Because when you get to college, if you don't love it, you're not going to make it, because those days get very tough, and it's a very tough, grueling schedule to play at that next level. All right, guys, we want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. I'll really appreciate the feedback. Always great hearing from you guys. And again, if you guys want a 12-week, 3-month-long wide receiver gym workout schedule, daily workouts for wide receivers to do in the gym, check out that very first link in that description below. I'll see you guys next time.